Good morning, students. Welcome back to your English literature class. Today we are going to discuss Act 5, Scene 1 of The Tempest. The learning objectives of this session are: by the end of this session, you will be able to understand and narrate the summary of Act 5, Scene 1. Critically analyze Act 5, and you all will be able to understand some of the references given in Act 5. But before proceeding further, it's time of recapitulation. So let's recapitulate what you have read till now. Act 4 of The Tempest is a vigorous celebration scene where Prospero proposes Ferdinand to marry Miranda. The engagement of Miranda and Ferdinand is solemnized. Prospero creates a magical show or mask with the spirits to bless Miranda and Ferdinand. Spirits appear as Iris, the goddess of rainbow; Juno, the wife of Jupiter, the queen of gods; and Ceres, goddess of harvest or earth, along with other spirits. Suddenly, Prospero interrupts the show as he suddenly recalls Caliban's foul conspiracy and orders to end the mask. He calls for Ariel and asks about the three drunkards. Ariel reports that Caliban, Trinculo, and Stephano are red hot with drinking. He led them around island and left them in the filthy mantled pool beyond his cell. Prospero sends Ariel to use the fine clothes in his cell to distract the conspirators. Caliban, Stephano, and Trinculo enter wet from the filthy pond. The fine clothing immediately distracts Stephano and Trinculo. They want to steal it, despite the protests of Caliban, who is eager and impatient to get on with the murder of Prospero. Stephano and Trinculo ignore him. Prospero, the powerful magician, unleashes the spirits in the form of hounds to chase Caliban, Stephano, and Trinculo away. Now, students, let us discuss the summary of Act 5, Scene 1. So, open your workbook of The Tempest at page number 170. So, let's discuss the detailed summary of this scene. This scene takes place before Prospero's cell, where he enters in magic robes accompanied by Ariel. He asks Ariel how the courtiers are, and Ariel replies that they are all huddled in one place in distorted and mournful poses, making the scene so touching that any human being would feel sorry for them. So, students, mark the difficult words here and write down its meanings. Huddled means gathered. Next is distorted, meaning is shapeless or deformed. Mournful means sad or sorrowful. So, in a self-satisfied happy mood, Prospero tells Ariel that everything is going according to his plan. He is satisfied with the working of all his spirits commanded by his magic powers. He asks Ariel how King Alonso and his companions are getting on. At this, Ariel replies that they are all frozen and are in sorrowful poses. All of them are in such a condition that any human being can feel sympathy towards them. At this, Prospero replies that he will take pity on them. And he says, With their high wrongs, I am struck to the quick, yet with my nobler reason, 'gainst my fury do I take part. The rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance. So, at this, Prospero replies that he will take pity on them, as virtue is rarer action than vengeance. Prospero asks Ariel to release them and bring them to him so that he can restore them to their correct minds. So, at this, Prospero asks Ariel to make them free from the magic charm and bring them back to their normal conditions. So, students, once Ariel has departed, Prospero, in a soliloquy, tells us about the feats performed by him with his magic, which he is now about to discard. He decides to bury his magic wand into the earth and throw his books on magic into the sea. So, students, note down the meanings here. The word is departed, meaning is gone. Next is soliloquy. Students, this is a figure of speech often used in drama or play when a character speaks to himself or herself. And here, Prospero is talking to himself. Next is feats, meaning is acts or achievements. Next is discard, meaning is throw away. So, students, here in his soliloquy, Prospero says that he is going to give up magic and declares that he will break his magic wand, bury it beneath the earth, and sink his books of magic in the sea. Next, Ariel returns with Alonso, Gonzalo, Antonio, and other lords and makes them stand inside a charmed circle, where Prospero gradually brings them out of their induced sleep. He takes off his magic cloak and other dresses so that they can recognize him as Prospero, the Duke of Milan. As they wake up, he also reveals his identity to them. Alonso quickly offers his dukedom back to him and asks his forgiveness. So here, students, Ariel returns obviously with all the courtiers, including Alonso, Gonzalo, and Antonio, and he also takes off his magic cloak and appears before them as the Duke of Milan. Alonso returns his dukedom and begs forgiveness. So, Prospero greets Gonzalo warmly but tells Antonio and Sebastian in an aside that he could expose them for their treacherous plans against the king. He says he won't do that this time and will even forgive Antonio for his crime against him. But he demands that they also recognize his right to reclaim his dukedom. So, students, here meaning of reclaim is recover. Now here Alonso returns Prospero's dukedom and begs forgiveness. And here Prospero welcomes Gonzalo, but he tells Antonio and Sebastian that he could expose their conspiracy to murder Alonso, but he won't do so. He is ready to forgive Antonio, provided that they should recognize his right to get his dukedom back. Students, next. Meanwhile, Prospero tells Alonso that he himself has lost a daughter while the king has lost his son. Alonso is surprised that Prospero too has lost a child like him. Alonso wishes that their two children were living in Naples as the king and queen of the country. So, students, here Prospero says that he has lost his daughter Miranda, just as Alonso has lost his son Ferdinand during the tempest. Alonso wishes the two of them students here refer to Ferdinand and Miranda. So, what does Alonso wish? Alonso wishes the two of them were alive and living in Naples as king and queen of the country. So students, Prospero tells Alonso that since he has helped him to regain his dukedom, he too would give him a valuable gift. Just then, at the entrance of Prospero's cell, they see Ferdinand playing chess with Miranda. So, Prospero also shows Ferdinand and Miranda playing chess in his cell. So, here Ferdinand tells his father that he chose Miranda for his wife in his absence. Alonso approves Miranda as his daughter-in-law. Then Ariel returns with the ship's master and the boatswain, who explain that the ship and all its crew are completely safe in a harbor nearby. Next, Ariel brings in Caliban, Stefano and Trinculo, the latter two still wearing their stolen clothes. All three are feeling much the worse for wear. Caliban asks for pardon, saying, "What a thrice double ass was I, to take this drunkard for a god, and worship this dull fool, and declaring, I'll be wise hereafter, and seek for grace." So here students, then Ariel returns with the ship's master and the boatswain. The boatswain informs that the ship and all its crew are safe in a harbor nearby. Then he brings in Caliban, Stefano and Trinculo. Caliban asks for pardon and laments that he was as a thrice double as to take this drunkard Stefano for a god. Means he has realized that it was foolish of him to worship a drunkard like Stefano as his god. So Prospero orders Caliban to go back to his cell and decorate it, and Alonso tells the other two to go and put the stolen clothes back where they found them. So Prospero asks Caliban to return to his cell, and Alonso tells Stefano and Trinculo to return their stolen clothes. So Prospero invites Alonso and his followers to spend the night with him in his cell, where he shall recount the story of his life, particularly the incidents that occurred to him since the time he came to the island. So here students, Prospero invites all of them to spend the evening with him in his cell, where he will narrate them the tale of his last 12 years, and in the morning they can all set out for Naples. So he promises that in the morning he shall take them to their ship so that they can sail to Naples, where he wishes to see the marriage of his dear daughter with Ferdinand. After their marriage, Prospero decides to retire to his dukedom in Milan, where every third thought shall remind him of his impending death. Since Ariel has performed his task obediently and well, Prospero liberates him so that he can roam freely through the air. Ariel promises calm seas and favorable winds for their voyage from the island to Naples. Prospero gives his final command to Ariel to provide calm seas and favorable winds on their return journey. After that, he will be released from all bonds. Then he, means Ariel, will be totally free. So, in an epilogue, Prospero tells the audience that now that he has got his dukedom back and pardoned his deceivers, he would not want to live on the island under the spell of the audience. He wants to be relieved by prayers. He wants the audience to fill out the sails of the ships with their cheers so that he has a pleasant journey to Naples. Now, what is epilogue? Epilogue, students, a speech by one of the characters to the audience to give some additional information. And here Prospero is speaking this epilogue. So, what does he say in his epilogue? The play ends with an epilogue by Prospero. As all of you are knowing, Prospero, the main character of the play. Prospero tells the audience that he is a mere actor and he has no magical powers. He has come here to take leave now. He has got his dukedom back and pardoned his enemies, and so he must not be kept in this lonely island by their influence. He should be set free from his captivity. They should give a parting applause as he needs their good wishes, which would give wind to their sails. If he doesn't get their good wishes, all his desires to please them, to please the audience, will fail. Now, he has no spirits under his command to carry out his orders by the power of magic. His life will be full of despair if he is not relieved by prayers which have the power to reach the divine mercy and get pardon for all his faults. So students, with this, we have discussed the detailed summary of Act 5 Scene 1. I hope all of you have understood this summary. Now we will continue critical appreciation, which is given at page number 171 of the Tempest workbook. So students, let's continue critical appreciation. And the first point is mercy and forgiveness. In this act, Prospero deals with those who have wronged him. He shows them mercy and forgiveness. He forgives both Antonio and Sebastian by not exposing their treacherous plot to kill Alonso. He shows mercy to Trinculo and Stefano. Forgiveness by Prospero, however, has different levels. Alonso is forgiven unconditionally. Antonio is rebuked and then forgiven, whereas others are punished before they are forgiven. Students, underline the word exposing and write down its meaning, revealing. So, in this act, Prospero deals with those who have wronged him. He forgives Antonio and Sebastian for their conspiracy to kill Alonso. He forgives his treacherous and ambitious brother Antonio, who with the help of Alonso cruelly wronged him. He expelled Prospero and cast him adrift with his 3-year-old daughter in a rotten boat. He forgives Alonso unconditionally as he is repentant due to the supposed loss of his son Ferdinand, and he has atoned for the evil he has done. He also scolds Antonio and then forgives him, whereas Caliban, Trinculo and Stefano are punished and forgiven on the condition that they should return the stolen trumpery and tidy up his cell neatly. All this shows that Prospero does not want to act against his noble nature and therefore gives up the desire for revenge. Students, let us discuss the next point. Prospero rises above the ignoble passion of revenge. Now here students, ignoble means mean. So let's read. Shakespeare had cried for quality of mercy through Portia in The Merchant of Venice. So here students, you have already read play The Merchant of Venice. Let's recapitulate Portia's speech on quality of mercy, in which she said, "Mercy is abundant and freely poured on the earth by God, just like the rain. It is blessed twice, because it blesses both the receiver and the giver of mercy, and calls mercy God's attribute." So, this mercy is evident in this last scene with all its capacity to please. Prospero forgives Alonso because his repentance is so acutely evident. He manages to overcome his personal agony of 12 years and even forgives his younger brother Antonio for banishing him out of his dukedom. Though Stefano and Trinculo are shown as one of the lowest creatures of mankind, Prospero forgives them. Now students, Mark the difficult word here, repentance. Its meaning is regret. Next is banishing, which means expelling. So students, this mercy is very much clear in this last scene, means Act 5, Scene 1. When Prospero forgives Alonso, his younger brother Antonio, Sebastian, Stefano and Trinculo. So, Prospero calls Antonio and Sebastian unnatural. Now, why? What is the reason behind this? That Prospero calls Antonio and Sebastian unnatural. Students, the reason is Antonio usurps the throne of Milan, and in usurping the throne, he has sinned against God and violated the bonds of brotherly love. Sebastian is also unnatural, as he has also plotted to kill his brother and usurped his throne. This brings back into focus Gonzalo's concept of an ideal state and a utopian existence as well as that of a noble savage. It is true that Antonio and Sebastian are products of a civilized world which, with its pretensions and affectations, makes them unnatural. So students, is idealistic. Noble savage. Students, means people having innate natural simplicity and uncorrupted virtues. So next is pretensions, meaning is claims or aspirations. Next is affectations, means mode of behavior not natural to oneself. So here students, what is said, this reminds us of Gonzalo's concept of an ideal state and an utopian existence. It is very much true that Antonio and Sebastian belong to the civilized world, but their evil intentions make them unnatural. They lack moral and intellectual strength to steer clear from these affectations. So, this is the reason, students. They don't regret till the end, but even then Prospero forgives them. Shakespeare seems to be letting us know that the natural and the unnatural man, the pretensions and the realities, the benevolence and the malevolence, the truth and the enforced lies are all within us only. So here students, meaning of benevolence, meaning is kindness, and malevolence, meaning is hatred. So student, here Shakespeare wants to make us aware of something. Now what does he want to make us aware of? He wants to make us aware of good and evil lie within us only. So when we betray the call of our thinking minds, what we betray is our souls. It is due to this that the negative presence of the so-called civilized man is projected as inferior even to the savage man, who at least does not have the capacity to harmfully influence others. So, when we deceive our mind, students, it means we deceive ourselves. The civilized man. Now here students, we are talking about Antonio or Sebastian. So the civilized man is shown to be lower than the savage man, and here the savage man is Caliban. So here it is said that the civilized man is shown to be lower than the savage man. However, when the negativity overpowers, then the savage man also becomes negative or deceiver. Yet, since the savage man exists at the most elementary level, his chances of survival, leave alone magnificence and luxury, are very limited. So students, here first of all, elementary level means simple or basic, and next is magnificence, meaning is greatness. So here through this play, Shakespeare also shows that the savage man like Caliban has limited chances of survival. Why so? because he exists at the basic level and leading a life of magnificence and luxury is a far-fetched idea for him. Him means Caliban. Now next point is Caliban gets his freedom. So Caliban is imprisoned by Prospero. So students, we have already read that Prospero with his daughter reached an uninhabited island which had been the refuge of witch Sycorax. There he found Caliban, and since then he confined Caliban to a rock and to the status of slave to split woods and draw water. So he is the symbol of native men whom the colonialists managed to control wherever they went. Actually, this Tempest is interpreted as a play about colonialism, primarily because Prospero came to Sycorax Island, controlled Caliban, ruled the land and imposed his own culture. So pushing the native to the side, Prospero colonized their island. He has full control over everything on the island. Caliban is treated as subhuman. So students, here this shows the colonizers' attitude of looking down upon the colonized people. The whites look down on the people of other color. So Caliban is treated as inferior. And students, Prospero is taken as a representative of the Europeans who usurped the land of Native Americans and enslaved them. Next, granting of Caliban's independence by Prospero, in addition to the handing over of the island to its true native, is poetically just. So, it is poetically just as, at the end, Prospero not only gives freedom to Caliban but also returns his island. Means, after a prolonged slavery, Caliban gets his native island back. So, little did Shakespeare realize that this justice that comes by Caliban's way, despite prolonged periods of agonized slavery, is not fully applicable in the modern world. So here students, Caliban's character is very important. What is the reason? Because of his symbolic significance. So he is regarded as a representative of those savage races which were being subdued and governed by the European colonizers of the Elizabethan age. Through the character of Caliban, Shakespeare seeks to convey in a symbolic form his views about one of the most important issues that have faced the world in modern times. So, a calm-souled Shakespeare hopes that his play, The Tempest, would bring about a semblance of the moral order that he yearned for. So students, here semblance means resemblance or similarity. Yearned for means desired for. So students, Shakespeare hopes something. And what is that? Shakespeare hopes that his play, The Tempest, would bring law and order and maintain a balance in the world that he had wished for. But he didn't realize that this justice of getting his native island back after a prolonged slavery or after a long slavery is not fully applicable in the modern world. So it is due to this that Caliban must have his native island and his freedom. Freedom not only from Prospero and slavery, but a freedom to choose whether he wants to stay in a state of nature or in a civilized state. So students, what kind of freedom must Caliban have? So Caliban must have his native island and his freedom. Freedom not only from Prospero and slavery, but a freedom to choose whether he wants to stay in his natural state or wants to live in a civilized state. So with this children, we have discussed critical appreciation till here. We'll continue the same in our next session. Now students, homework for the day is read and revise summary and critical appreciation till done of Act 5 Scene 1. Thank you.